Welcome to the 14th session of Healthy Head and Healthier Mind. You can see the slide on the screen, which is called as Johari window. It is an interpersonal communications model. There are 4 squares here. First square is known to me, known to others. Second square is unknown to me, known to others. Third square is known to me, unknown to others. Fourth square is unknown to me, unknown to others. You will have to do a little exercise about listing of all these things on your own. Now, whatever is known to you, whatever is known to others, that is your public life. Whatever you do not hide, that is first square. Now, the square below it, where it is known to me, unknown to others, whatever you are hiding and whatever is unknown to others, you may have to list some of them. That is hidden and private. Now, the square at the right side on the top, that is unknown to me and known to others. This may be a little difficult for you to follow. I have told you my experience of videography of my own lecture for a few minutes and me watching it. I was not knowing that I was using so much of hand gestures or facial expressions when I was giving a lecture. That was unknown to me till then, but it was known to everybody else. That is generally called as blind spot or bad breath or salad teeth. Now, if you have to find out whatever is unknown to you and whatever is known to others, you will have to interact a lot with the people and you'll have to be open to ideas. You'll have to be open to suggestions. You'll have to be open to feedback. If you feel that something which is not known to you and if you feel that it is known to others, somehow it becomes your responsibility to find out those things which are unknown to you. You will have to learn from everyone for that matter. In my childhood, I used to mix with all types of people in the village. I used to go to every house in the village as well. In fact, for many years, I was living with my grandparents, and they never used to put any restrictions on me for my movements or for my activities. So that way, sometimes I used to wander alone in the woods or on the hills or even in the rivers. And at times I used to mix with all types of people. That way, there was a very much open communication between people. And in general, the people who stay in the villages, they are very open to dialogues. Means there is no hide and seek game. In general, in those days, in the villages, people never used to act as if they are something else. That acting as if we are something else is actually happening with the more civilized or the more educated population, where people want to show as if they are something else and internally they may be something else. Such hypocritical behavior is present mostly in the well educated urban population. Such behavior is not there in the rural population where people are down to earth and really very innocent at many conditions. So, due to such exposure in my childhood with the villagers, many things which was unknown to me and I knew that it was known to others, many times I had to learn that way. So, finding out about what others know and what you don't know, if you have to find out, you will have to be very open to suggestions, sometimes very open to criticisms also. You will have to face those criticisms also, and you will have to analyze yourself about whether those criticisms are valid or not. It requires a open-mindedness. Now, the last square is unknown to others, unknown to me. There are many questions about what happens after death. And there are many questions about what would have been there before birth. Is there a existence after death? And was there an existence before birth? These are some questions for which many people don't know the answers. But there are distinct answers for all these questions. It is purely in the spiritual domain, it is not in the material domain. Similarly, about God's existence, many people have their own ideas about God's existence. Today, so many people in the South India, maybe in the North India as well, they're all celebrating a festival called Varmahalakshmi Vrata. But if at all you seriously ask people about what is this Vrata and who is actually Lakshmi, they'll not be knowing. They have connected this festival along with the money. But they don't understand a simple fact that money was not created by God. Money was created as a means of transaction with the human beings. So if this is the case, then whatever God has not created or whatever Goddess has not created, how it will be offered to human beings in spite of any type of worship or any type of prayer? This is a simple thing which people do not understand. If at all they have to understand today's festival of Varmalakshmi Vrata, then they should study Sri Suktam in the Veda and they should understand the meanings of Sri Suktam that majority of them would not have done. They will have a Lakshmi's picture and they will light the lamps and they will do a lot of stotra, chant a lot of stotra, mantra, and sometimes they'll exhibit all the jewelry and the money which they have at home, and they think that the jewelry and money itself is their true wealth. And they think that if at all they worship Goddess on this particular day, they will have more and more wealth. But the point is, for celebrating this festival today, they would have spent a lot of money. That money which they spend, it has gone to whom? It has gone to flower vendors, it has gone to incense stick vendors, it has gone to the people who sell banana plant today. It has gone to so many other people who sell those items for the purpose of worship. So naturally, who is becoming richer today? The people who are the vendors for this particular festival, they are becoming richer today without worshipping Lakshmi. People who are worshipping Lakshmi at home, they are spending their money on festival. This simple fact they don't understand. That is unknown to others, unknown to me as well. Not me as Aravinda, for that particular square I am referring. But I know that such practices are not going to yield any money as such, because money is not created by God or Goddess. In the same Sri Suktam, at the end, one sentence is there. Bhayashoka manastapa nashyantu mama sarvada. That word is there in the Sri Suktam. Fear should not be there, grief should not be there, quarrel should not be there in the home. That is what the Rishi says at the end of Sri Suktam. What exactly is the wealth? Rana Roga Ari, that also he mentions. I should not have enemies, I should not have diseases, I should not have loan. That all he says. If that is all not there, naturally your house is wealthy, you are wealthy. This simple thing people do not understand, and they get lost by many customs or many celebrations without yielding any fruits. So such things are called unknown to others, unknown to me. Now if you find out that whatever is unknown to you, if it is unknown to others, now in that particular square, if you have to get that knowledge, then you have to find out something which is at least known to some percentage of people. In fact, that unknown to me, unknown to other square itself is a mystery of life. Only the spiritual science can tap into that particular mystery. And there are distinct answers for all these questions. And I will be discussing all of them in detail in my future sessions. Johari made a very good model of this particular window. I'll go to the next slide. There I'll discuss more about it. This is an example of an ideal Johari window. Johari window in groups, where known to me, known to others, it must be as large as possible. All human beings, we are social animals, which means as much as possible, we should not have a hidden agenda. Any time when people think about us, people should think that we are trustworthy, we are honest, we are open to ideas. The more we hide about ourselves, gradually people will stop communicating with us, because one day or the other, we all will keep thinking of each other, and one day or the other, people will come to know that who is open and who is closed. So, in the public life, as much as possible, that known to me and known to the square must be larger in size. Especially in my case, as I've been teaching yoga and as I've been discussing things very openly in my classes, my life also has been quite open that way. In my life, I have nothing to hide as such. So, when students think about me, students actually should think that the person is trustworthy. On whomever we are depending upon for our knowledge, we can believe on him, we can have faith on him. And that belief and faith will gradually come only if teachers are open. Especially teachers' lives cannot be having any hidden facts. Because in any teacher's life, mostly it is interaction with the students only. And students are basically learners. Not only in the teacher's case, even if it is a doctor's case, a doctor's life, it has to be known to me, known to others, it has to be a larger square. Otherwise, let us say a doctor himself will have a disease and patients come to him for treatment. One fine day, the patients will come to know that doctor is also having a disease. Patient will lose faith on a doctor. In so many professions, as much as possible, transparency should be maintained. What is known to me, known to others. Now, what is known to me, what is unknown to others, that is hidden or private. This also has some role. For example, if me and my wife know some secrets of our family, let us say me and my wife know something which is happening in somebody else's family, which should not be made public, then it is better that we keep it as a secret for ourselves. There are a few things, some private things in anybody's life. Many times people will commit mistakes unknowingly, and if they commit mistakes unknowingly, then they should be forgiven for that. If they are forgiven for that, then those things should not be made public. This requires a conscious decision about what to make public, what not to make public. If at all I know that somebody is suffering due to some other family politics, imagine, then I should not make such family politics public. As much as possible, if I want to solve those issues, we should find out mutually how to curb that matter. I had already told you about the 4 methods of Rajaniti: Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda. We will have to find out through which of the means the problems can be thwarted or curbed, or solutions can be found. So, just because it is democracy or just because people have a freedom of speech, they should not tell everything to everybody. People should consciously decide what can be told publicly and what should not be told publicly. But as much as possible, we should have a public life. That square must be larger in size. But always in a family or in relationships, there will be a few things which have to be kept as secret only, it is better that they left as secret itself. So if some few truths or few incidents, if they are made completely public, it may cause harm more to people. If it is the case, why should we tell something about a tragedy or something about a mistake which others have committed that we should not do? In general, we say that praise at the back and criticize at the front. If at all you find a fault with somebody, criticize at the front, and if at all you find person is a very good person, praise at the back. You should not praise the person at the front because it is going to cause the increase of the ego. You should not criticize at the back because one fine day somebody will come to know that you are being criticized at the back. So my method has been this way. If at all I find a fault with somebody, I'll criticize openly at the front with the person himself. And if I find something worthy mentioning or some good thing which people have done, I will not praise them at the front because they will become more egoistic, more arrogant. I praise them at the back. They will come to know that also. But otherwise, what generally do is they praise at the front and criticize at the back. Both are wrong. Praising up at the person at the front is also wrong. Criticizing at the back also is wrong. That is when the gap will be increased. Now coming to the third square, unknown to me and known to others. That is a blind spot. As I've already told, as much as possible, if I am open to ideas, if I am open to suggestions, if I am open to advices, irrespective of the age, my experience in life tells me that age and knowledge are unrelated. Because with the noble people, with the sacred people, knowledge gets carried forward to their future lives also. Whatever they have learned in the past lives, gradually that will be also carried forward through their memory, through the subtle memory, into the next lives. That way, age and knowledge are not related as such. If a 16-year-old boy called Narendra, if he goes to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and he asks Ramakrishna Paramahamsa that, have you seen God? A 16-year-old boy asks this question to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. What does it mean? It means that the 16-year-old boy has got a quest for truth. If a same 16-year-old boy, otherwise, it may not be Narendra, who became Swami Vivekananda later on. Any other, in general, any other boy which is 16-year-old, who is 16-year-old, what he will ask with any others? How many 16-year-old youngsters will keep asking about this particular question to others about, have you seen God or do you know God? Which means to say that Narendra already had that quest in his life from his previous lives. If a 5 or 6-year-old boy asks for permission of sannyasa from his mother, what do you expect? That boy, Adi Shankara, he had that quest for truth from his previous life itself. That means he knew already about a few things. So, age and knowledge are not related that way. A person can be a born wise person because of the memory carried forward by the previous lives. That way, people have to be open to suggestions, open to learning from anybody and everybody for that matter. In fact, children are the biggest teachers for anybody because children will have very much noble qualities. They will be very much open to communication and they will not be doing a lot of acting as such. Whatever they say, whatever they think will be same. But in the case of adults, many times whatever they say and internally whatever they think may be different. That way, children are the biggest teachers. Coming to the last one, as I have told you, unknown to others, unknown to me, as much as possible. as much as possible, that particular square has to be of smaller size. If this square is bigger in size, questions will keep on increasing as such. So, there are some perennial questions in life for which, from time immemorial, people have been trying to find out answers, and there are distinct answers for all those questions. It is the responsibility of the aspirant to find out the answers for these questions which are unknown to me and unknown to others. So this is an ideal square where that unknown to me, unknown to other square must be least in size. This is an example of an interviewer. Look here. An interviewer, when he is interviewing a particular job aspirant, known to me, known to others is very less here. Known to me, unknown to others is very large here. Because in that 1 hour's interview, the interviewer may not be able to understand everything about me if I am a job aspirant. I have seen examples in our professional life when we interview a candidate for a lecturer's post or a professor's post. We take a demo, we ask some technical questions, we also ask some personal questions. 3 rounds of interview will happen. One round in the department, one round with the higher level committee, and one round with the management itself. In these 3 rounds also, we will not be able to assess the character of the person. We will not be able to completely understand the person. After these 3 rounds, a decision is taken to hire the person, and after the person is hired, within the next 6 months or within the next 1 year, then we will really come to know how the person really is. That is where this known to me, unknown to others is much larger. Interviewer will not be knowing much about the interviewee at all. Similarly, that unknown to me and known to others. This is a typical model of an interview. Then the next model is called bull in a china shop. You can see that unknown to me, known to others is much larger in size. Some people who are always rude in their behavior, always arrogant in their behavior, they don't care for anybody else that way. They really don't know what harm they are going to cause for themselves. They will have those 8 types of arrogances they will have. And actually they will be harming themselves only, but they will not be knowing what is the harm they are causing to others. In such case, they don't know themselves. But whatever is their character, their nature, everybody else knows. In a village, if there is a rowdy or a hooligan, everybody will be knowing about him. But he himself will not be knowing about himself. If he knows about himself, why will he become a rowdy or a hooligan? There's a typical story, small story. A group of terrorists caught some people, and in general, the people who have not properly studied their own books, or people who are not have any religious goals, people start these terrorist activities for the sake of easy survival, for the sake of making more money through those means. They are actually some type of robbers only, in one other way. So, a religion or a faith system cannot be connected to terrorism that way. There are terrorists in every religion as such. There are terrorists in every state and every country as such, with different names. But this particular group of terrorists, they belong to Muslim community. And they caught some people, and they kept on telling, kept on asking, prove that you are a Muslim. And there were some Hindu people also in that particular community. They did not know how to prove. They kept on calling each one and they kept on telling, say one verse in the Quran. And the people used to keep on telling. All Muslims told one or two verses in the Quran. And when a turn came of a Hindu person, Hindu did not know Quran verse. Hindu told one Bhagavad Gita verse. Then the terrorist told, okay, go, go. And they all went. Later on, the people who are Muslims, they asked this Hindu person, you told the verse of Bhagavad Gita, still the terrorist told you go. How did he do that? Then the Hindu person told, if that person would have studied Quran, why would he become a terrorist? That terrorist does not know Quran, does not know Bhagavad Gita, does not know anything else. He only knows how to kill people. Okay? Such mad people, insane people, less intellectual people, they get victimized because of their own activities. They don't live a quality lifestyle at all. So in that case, they don't know themselves. If they know themselves, why will they go into the path of terrorism? Why will they go into the path of killing people? In the same Quran, if it is told about the 5 ways in which a Muslim has to lead his life, Kalima, Namaz, Roza, Zakat, Hajj, these are the 5 pillars of Islam. And during every namaz, if they have to say, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, if they say that way, then when they say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, God is merciful, God is beneficent, if they say that, how can they pick up a gun and kill people? That is where unknown to me and known to others. They don't know themselves, but everybody else knows that they are causing terrorism. This syndrome is called bull in a china shop. Next one is called turtle. Look at this. In this turtle, unknown to me, unknown to others is much larger in size. Means this turtle will always remain inside its own shell. It will not put its head outside for much longer time. What it will learn? If it remains like that, in what way it will learn? It may not have questions also. It may not need answers also. It lives as if like that. But for the sake of turtle, it is fine. But what about the sake of human beings? If unknown to me and unknown to others is much larger in size, then how can we expect that the quality of life will be enhanced? Now, my art and science of eating presentation was only 12 sessions. Whereas this particular healthy head and healthier mind presentation, today is the 14th one. And it may go on for the next 2 sessions. The last session may run up to 18 to 20 sessions. The last presentation of Secrets of Spirituality, it may run into 18 to 20 sessions. Why? There are so many things which are unknown to others, but they are known to me. So, how can I expect that people will live like a turtle? If people have to live like better human beings, if the quality of life has to be enhanced, then that square has to be as much smaller in size. Unknown to me, unknown to others has to be as much smaller in size. But in this particular case, it is much bigger in size. That is when problem will be there by the people, and problems they only will create. They will suffer because of their own problems, because it is unknown to them, it is unknown to others. I'll tell a small story. One person had 4 sons. Narayana, Govinda, Madhava, Krishna, something like that. 4 names for 4 sons. This person was a businessman and he had gradually opened up 4 shops for the 4 sons. And he was taking rest at home always. So one day he became sick and he was sick on the bed for 1 or 2 weeks. A day came when he gradually came to know that he is going to leave his body. He thought that he may not live further, and he called his wife and told, urgently call my sons, because I want to see them before I leave my body. So his wife called all his 4 sons. They immediately closed the shops and they came home. When they came home, she kept on telling to her husband, see, all your 4 sons have come. You wanted to talk to them. All your 4 sons have come. And he kept on talking to the first son Narayana, second son Govinda, third son Madhava, fourth son Krishna. That way, he became very happy that all the 4 sons have come to see him, and he became happy. Suddenly, he asked the elder son, who is at the shop? Narayana told, urgently, because my mom called me, sent a message to me, I closed the shop. You closed the shop. He asked the second son, what about you? Second son told, even I closed the shop. Third son, he also told, I closed the shop. Fourth son, he told, I also closed the shop. Now suddenly this fellow became so angry, he told, all the 4 of you have come to see me closing the shop. For this last 1 or 2 hours you have been here. So much of business is lost now. So many customers would have gone and went back. What stupid people you are. How can you lose money this way? Go back and open your shops. Don't worry about me. So even on his deathbed, he was worrying about the business of his own sons. Now, does he understand what happens after death? Does he understand what was there before birth? Does he understand his own memory? What is there in his memory? Does he understand what he is going to carry with that memory? Does he understand the law of karma? Nothing. So naturally, in the future life also, the things will remain the same, because the same thing is going to be carried in the memory as an imprint, and lessons will be repeated until lessons are learned. So even in the next life, the situation will remain the same. For that matter, it becomes very important that this unknown to me, unknown to others, that particular square must be much lesser in size. What is avidya? Not knowing what is to be really known. What has to be really known? Initially, body has to be known. Later on, mind has to be known. Later on, soul has to be known. These are the 3 things which have to be known for any individual. Because ultimately, we are all individuals only. Ultimately, we come on this earth alone. We go from this earth also alone. So then, are we the body? Are we the mind? Are we the soul? What are actually we? That should be understood. So avidya is not knowing what is to be really known. Adi Shankara says one more word called adhyasa. Adhyasa means mistaking the known one as the real one. I have already discussed about the natural maya and the social maya. Mistaking the known one as the real one. If my name is Aravinda kept by my parents, I keep on thinking that I am Aravinda. No, Aravinda is the name given to a particular body, name given to a particular form. But the form itself is mistaken as the real one. But this body keeps on changing from childhood to youth to adult to old age. The body will not remain the same. From childhood till death, the body will have a lot of physical changes, physiological changes. If there are physiological changes, am I the one who is changing? This way, mistaking the known one as the real one, mistaking that body itself is me, but basically body is changing. And I am also going from the awakened state to the dreaming state to the sleeping state. So who am I really in the awakened state, or in the dreaming state, or in the sleeping state? That is where again avidya comes into picture, not knowing what is to be really known. Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya or the knowledge of God is the first one to be known by every human being. But they don't study that. They study everything else as such. Just like the story which I told you, the person keeps on studying about how to make more and more money. Money is again a social maya. So that is avidya. Vidya means knowing about the self, knowing about God. But as people have this avidya already, there is adhyasa, which is mistaking the known one as the real one. I am a man. I am a woman. I am a teacher. I am a student. I am a doctor. I am an engineer. That way, relating ourselves with our professions or relating ourselves with our bodies, relating ourselves with our own memories, whatever we store in our own memory, we identify ourselves with that and we mistake that whatever we stored or whatever we think we are, that itself is real. But during deep sleep, there is no teacher, there is no student, there is no man, there is no woman, there is no doctor, there is no engineer. During deep sleep, nothing is there. It is completely blank. Again, next day morning when you wake up, you will recall from your memory whatever is already stored. This is adhyasa. Now, upadhi is treating the higher one at the lower level. Actually, soul is at the higher level, body is at the lower level. But treating the body as a higher level and not worrying much about soul, not trying to understand much about soul, not trying to know about the self. Which means whatever has to be really respected, whatever has to be really known, whatever has to be really acclaimed, for which such value is not given, whatever need not be acclaimed, that is being praised. I gave an example of today's festival. Today's Varamahalakshmi Vrata, whatever has to be really acclaimed, the mental purification, physical health, mental health, that has to be acclaimed. Lakshanat Lakshmi. Whatever is having attributes, that is called Lakshmi. Money is not Lakshmi. But people have this upadhi where treating the higher one at the lower level. Lakshmi is the goddess of energy, not the goddess of money. But they have converted her as a goddess of money. It is a metaphor where on a Ksheerasagara, Vishnu sleeps on Adishesha and Lakshmi is serving him. It is a big metaphor. Its complete meaning I am going to tell in the next presentation only, not now, because it is a big metaphor. So when goddess Lakshmi is Lakshanat Lakshmi, Vishati Ashnati iti Vishnu. So she is a consort of God, God and goddess, consciousness and energy, when they are working together for the whole of the universe, do you think when you call her to your home, she will come and still stay at your home? Is she your servant that you will call her and she will stay at your home? Next thing is, if so many people keep on calling her to their homes, to which home she will go? Will she go to all the homes or will she go to only one particular home? To whose home she will go? What type of ignorance is this? This is called upadhi. Lakshmi is not somebody's servant, or Lakshmi is not somebody's bargaining element that you call her by some amount of worship and she will come to your house. Actually, she is already there. You will have to uncover her. I told the verse of the Sri Suktam. Bhayashoka manastapa nashyantu mama sarvada. Let the aspirants read the Sri Suktam. At the end, whatever is told by the Rishi, let them fulfill those conditions. Lakshmi is already there at their home. Instead of understanding that, they attribute Lakshmi as money, gold coins, more and more of 2000 rupee notes. That is what they think. This is called upadhi, means treating the higher one at the lower level. Why? Because of adhyasa. Why adhyasa? Because of avidya. Not knowing what is to be really known, that is avidya. These three words are used by Adi Shankara in all of his books so many times. And he keeps on alerting the readers about how you should overcome upadhi, how you should overcome adhyasa, how you should overcome avidya. That's a systemic study of Vedanta. If this is not properly understood, that Johari Windows model, just related to that Johari Windows model, there are different models available there. And they will remain the same. That Johari window will never become ideal as long as avidya, adhyasa and upadhi are there. This is applicable to spiritual life. This is applicable to material life as well. I had told you a suggestion earlier that you should like whatever you have to remember. For example, in our engineering course, students will study so many courses. Now they have to remember the technical content. They have to remember the conceptual learning. They should not hate it. If they hate it, then they may not remember it properly. So they should respect the knowledge. They should like whatever they have to remember. They need not keep cursing the examination system. They need not keep cursing the teachers. They need not keep cursing the college also. They need not keep cursing their parents also. Why? Because that's a system of education where they will have to like what they have to remember. If they like what they have to remember, they will definitely remember. So that way, this is applicable to the spiritual life also. This is applicable to the material life also. That Johari window model is applicable to both domains of the life. Zero sensed cells, one sensed plants, two sensed worms, three sensed fishes, four sensed insects and snakes, five sensed reptiles and birds and mammals, and the intelligent and intellectual humans. We have five senses: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Along with that, we have the ability of speech. We have the ability of enhance the skills. Okay, but those five senses are there with the reptiles also and with birds also, with the other mammals also. Whereas insects and snakes, they cannot hear. They don't have ears. So they are four sensed. Fishes cannot smell. They do not have nostrils. That is three sensed fishes. And the worms, they have only two senses. Worms are blind. They cannot see. They have only taste and touch. Plants have only the sense of touch. They don't have taste also. But zero sensed, all the red blood cells, white blood cells, amoeba, they all have life within them, but they have no senses. If amoeba is cut into two pieces, it will become two amoeba and it will live. If that two amoeba is cut into another two, it will become four amoeba. It will live, but it does not have any sense. So life is there even with zero sense. This means that God has been evolving life in such varied forms, right from zero sense cells to one sense plants, two sense worms, three sense fishes, four sense insects and snakes, five sense reptiles and birds and mammals, and the intelligent and intellectual human beings. One by one, for each type of body, senses have been imparted over a period of time. God is timeless, but God created time. And God created time life. In the time life, He created one by one all these types of creatures. So, stationary plants and moving animals, or moving beings and stationary beings, we call it as Thavara and Jangama. That way it went on. Regarding this, again I will discuss more in my third presentation only, not now. Sthavaraha, Krimayobjascha, Pakshinaha, Pashavo Naraha. धार्मिकास्त्रिदशास्तद्वन्मोक्षिणश्च यथाक्रमम् सहस्रभाग प्रथमा द्वितीयानुक्रमास्तथा सर्वे ह्येते महाभागा यावन् मुक्ति समाश्रयाः. This is told in Vishnu Puranam. Trees, worms, fishes, birds, animals, human beings, righteous humans, angels, likewise those who desire of liberation. In this order, each one exists thousandfold more than the next one, and all of these are dependent on liberation. Let's understand this. Even the people who are desirous of liberation, they are less in number. Then angels are more in number. Righteous humans are more in number. Human beings are still more in number. Animals are much larger in number. Birds are still larger in number. Fishes are still larger than the birds. Worms are much larger in number. Trees are much larger in number. That is where the Rishi says in the Vishnu Puranam that each one exists thousandfold more than the next. And all of these are dependent on liberation. Otherwise, the tree will be born again as a seed. Fish will be born again as a fish through its own egg. Bird will be born again as a bird through. Human being is born as another human being through the same embryo. Even though even he will be born again as long as the seed memory remains. For liberation, all these are dependent that way. That is what is avidya. Knowing the one that is to be really known, that is avidya. Because of the avidya, there is adhyasa. Because of adhyasa, there is upadhi. Watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, because they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch, for they become your destiny. This is told by Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and Swami Shivananda has beautifully explained it in its book. That thought will lead to action, action will lead to habit, habit will lead to character, character will lead to destiny. Where is the thought? The thought is in the memory. So if the memory is pure, pure thoughts will come. Pure thoughts will lead to right actions, right habits, right character, right destiny. Please recall the sentence which I had told in the very first slide here, that your future depends on your memory. Even your liberation depends on your memory. Not just this life, even the future lives also depend on what you store in your memory. Karma, what you give comes back to you. This fellow thinks that he will simply push one and it will simply go that. But he does not know that it will have a boomerang effect where finally this will fall on his head only. What you give, that is going to come back to you. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This is told in the Bible. As you sow, so you reap. In Kannada we say bittidante bele. ಮಾವಿನ ಬೀಜ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾವಿನ ಬೆಳೆ, ಬೇವಿನ ಬೀಜ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಬೇವಿನ ಬೆಳೆ. ಏನನ್ನ ಬಿತ್ತಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ. So be not deceived. God is not mocked. God is not mocked. Understand the law of karma, understand the law of nature, understand the law of memory. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Whatever is stored in the memory, that itself is going to become a cause for next effect. Welcome to the Karma Cafe. There are no menus. You will get served what you deserve, because you are creating your own menu. That is how Karma Cafe works. There are no menus. Each one will be his own list of menus, whatever is stored in the memory. And the same thing is going to be served. Cook is time itself. Okay. Let me teach you two beautiful methods now, because you may be curious. Instead of blaming us or teach us about how to cleanse our own memory, you may keep asking. So let us have a small practice now. Before that, I'll give an introduction about this particular great person called Jose Silva. He was an American and he studied a lot about life and metaphysics, life and spirituality. He found out some simple things which can cause drastic changes in the lifestyle. Very simple things which they are put into practice, they will have some drastic, better changes in the lifestyle. And gradually he wrote beautiful books on that. He has written a book on the other side. And his method was called as Silva method of mind control. So I'll tell you the first method now. The first method is affirmation. As soon as you wake up, you have to sit in the bed only. And then you have to simply chant this. Every day, in every way, I am becoming better, better, and better. Every day, in every way, I am becoming better and better. Every day, in every way, I am becoming better, better, and better. Don't simply chant this as a parrot. Chant this or mentally recall this sentence with a lot of feeling, with a lot of faith, with a lot of confidence. At least 3 times. As soon as you wake up in the morning, sit in the bed and affirm yourself with full faith, with enough confidence, with lot of feeling. Repeat this sentence at least 3 times. If you still have time, again more number of times, maybe 10 times. As soon as you wake up, your brain is fresh, which means brain is detoxified during night, and there are effective synaptic connections in the brain. Now, naturally, you are going to induce better synaptic connections within the neurons by recalling this sentence again and again. Naturally, whatever you think, that way you are going to act. Whatever you act, that way it is going to be your habit. Your habit is going to be your character. Your character is your destiny, as I have already shown in the previous slide. So if you affirm yourself every day morning that every day in every way I am becoming better, better, and better, naturally you will become better, because you will approach that day's activity with this particular positive mindset, and naturally you will become better. So for your betterment, only you are responsible. Please understand that. Now don't bring all other people into the scene and keep on saying that I was spoiled because of him, I was spoiled because of her. Don't bring all that. That is again a blame game. I have already shown you the slides on blame game. That way there will be no improvement at all. There will be no change at all. If change has to happen, change has to happen with you. So this is an affirmation which is a very powerful affirmation. I have been trying this since many years. It's a very powerful affirmation. Even now also I use this affirmation for myself. So as soon as you wake up, sit on the bed and remember this same feeling, with the same positive thought, with the same confidence. Better, better, and method of. Now I'm going to tell you the next method. This you need not practice every day. only when such situation arises, or only when there is, let us say, some disruption or some other issue. Only during such situations you can practice this particular technique called mirror. What you have to do is, you will have to keep your eyes closed, and at the left side of the brain you should visualize a blue colored mirror. Why blue color? Blue color is the color of the Ajna chakra. Don't ask me the question about what is chakra. I am going to discuss about that chakra again in my third presentation. So as the color of the Ajna chakra is blue, you should visualize this blue mirror at the left side of your brain, keeping your eyes closed. Now in that blue mirror, visualize your present tense. If at all you have problems, visualize those problems in that blue mirror. If at all you have people troubling you, visualize them in that blue colored mirror. All your present lifestyle, you can visualize in that blue colored mirror. You will have to completely memorize, completely recall, fully visualize that particular scene in the blue colored mirror, which is at the left side. Why left side? Again, left side brain is the thinking side. Now slowly move this mirror. Slowly move this mirror from the left side of the brain to the right side of the brain. Very slowly, consciously do this activity. Slowly move this to the right side. Let it take a few minutes. No hurry, no problem. You should have enough patience. Or cultivate the patience. If you don't have the patience, develop the patience. Slowly move this mirror to the right side. But when the mirror is moving to the right side, gradually it has to turn into pure white. The blue mirror which was there at the left side, it has to gradually move into right side, and it has to gradually turn into pure white. When it completely moves into right side, visualize that the mirror has become completely white. In that white colored mirror, visualize your future tense, visualize the solutions. Simply visualize the future tense, visualize the solutions for your issues without thinking much about how it will be solved. You don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about how things will be solved. You are simply leaving it to the inner consciousness. Because left side brain is the thinking side, right side brain is the feeling side. Left side brain is the conscious side, right side brain is the subconscious side. This we have already discussed earlier. So, there are many problems which are in the conscious side. In the conscious side itself, there may not be solutions. There are solutions in the subconscious side. I have already told you that most of the creativity comes out from within, and most of the creative aspects are manifested through the dreaming state, not in the awakened state. So simply submit this issue which is in the conscious side to the subconscious side, because right brain is governed by the subconscious mind, left brain is governed by the conscious mind. From the intellect, let it be moving to the intuition. Gradually things will be solved. So, but you have to consciously do it with enough faith, with enough confidence, with enough feeling. You will have to do these things. You cannot do it mechanically. You should feel these techniques. Blue mirror at the left, visualize your complete present tense, visualize your problems also fully. Any particular problem if you have, visualize it fully, slowly move it to the right side. When it completely moves to the right side, the mirror should become white in color. Why again white in color? I have already told you, blue color is the color of the Ajna chakra. White color is the color of all the 7 chakras, right from Muladhara till Sahasrara. All the 7 colors of the rainbow as a combination, it is white in color. That is why it is connected to the right side brain, it is connected to the subconscious aspect of life. And keep on practicing this maybe one day, maybe second day, maybe third day. And within a few days, you will have solutions. You will have beautiful solutions without you putting physical efforts. Now you may wonder, without you putting physical efforts, how problems will be solved. My dear friends, problems, if you did not create it, then somehow problems will be solved. If you keep creating problems, problems will be never solved. For all the problems which are there in life, in nature, always there are solutions. Somehow solutions also will come out of nature itself, because nature is conscious. Energy is conscious. I'll tell you one of my experiences when I use this mirror of the mind. I have used these techniques many times in my life. I'll tell you my recent experience. When I registered for PhD in 2013, in the coursework, there are 6 subjects, 6 courses we have to study, and we'll have to write exams. We'll have to attend classes also. We'll have to write exams also. Clearing the 6 courseworks actually takes almost 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years. My guide advised me that within 1.5 years I should complete the coursework, so that later on I can focus more on my research work and on publications. There is one particular course called Foundation Course in Mathematics, for which no classes were taken. For all other courseworks, some professor will take classes and we will attend the classes, we will write the internal test, we will write the exam. But for this particular course, Foundation Course in Mathematics, no classes will be taken, there will be no internal tests, there will be one final exam. Whenever research students are ready, they can register for the course and they have to take up the exam. Exam will happen once in a year. That was the system. Now this particular course, the syllabus was first PUC Maths, second PUC Maths, first semester BE Maths, second semester BE Maths, third semester BE Maths, fourth semester BE Maths. Totally 2 engineering years math syllabus along with the PUC math syllabus. Such a big syllabus, condensed pack, that was the syllabus prescribed. The idea of this course was that we should revise all our maths knowledge, so that in future for research it will be really helpful. Actually, it will be really helpful. It became really helpful for me in my research work also. But as nobody is teaching it, we have to learn on our own. Now, I had lost in touch with all these math subjects long back. I studied all these maths concepts when I was in BE. Later on in our regular profession, we don't use all these maths at once. Only a selected portion of the maths which is required for a particular subject, only that we will be studying. But here I had to revise all the basics once again from PUC. I did not know how I am able to clear this particular course. What I did was, I simply applied this technique of mirror of the mind. At the left side, blue mirror, I have this particular course, Foundation Course in Maths, which I have to clear. And I gradually move that to the right side. At the right side, that mirror, I will turn it into pure white. In that, I will visualize that within the next 2 years, I am clear in this particular course. That's all. The marks will not be considered for grade as such. The mandatory requirement is that I should clear the course. I should pass this course. Passing marks was 55. It was not 35. Passing marks itself for this course was 55 out of 100. So I had to clear the course. This technique I applied. Afterwards, within the next few months, I had one colleague called Rakesh in our department. I just got an idea that one day when I was interacting with him, I casually asked him. He was a very honest and very polite and very sincere colleague of mine. Ex-colleague. Now he has left the college. Ex-colleague of mine. One day casually I asked him, Rakesh, will you help me in revising my maths right from PUC? He said, okay, sir. And I told him, any Saturday afternoon, we will sit together. Just help me for 1 or 2 hours in revising my basics. He said, okay, sir. And it went on. One semester went on. And one semester it went on. Next semester, again, I was clearing my other courseworks. I was remembering this particular course. Now I like to sit with Rakesh. I used to be busy with my own work. He also used to be busy with his own work. And in the month of February, there was exam scheduled. Now in the month of November, again I went to Rakesh and I told him, Rakesh, now February exam is scheduled. We have to start working on it. Then Rakesh said, sir, from next week onwards, next Saturday onwards, we will sit together. And he asked me to bring that higher engineering mathematics book. And he told me, bring that book with you, sir. We will start revising all those concepts. And he told, for such concepts like probability and statistics, I cannot help you, sir. You can go through Khan's videos, which are available in YouTube, and you can work out on your own, sir. I said, all right. He started discussing the basic differentiation, differential equations and such things. And it went on for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Actually, me and Rakesh sat together only for 4 hours. 4 Saturdays. In those 4 Saturdays, only for 4 hours, he wrote some diagrams and he beautifully discussed all the basics with me. Things became very clear to me. Then for PUC, I took the textbooks of my yoga student Padmaja's daughter Shilpa. I asked her to give me those PUC textbooks and I started revising all those PUC textbooks. And as Rakesh had suggested, I went through these Khan's Academy videos. Each video was only 10 minutes. I used to sit in front of the computer, put my earphone, and as Khan keeps on explaining that particular video, I used to have a notepad and pen. I used to keep on solving the exercises. That way, gradually, I kept on practicing, and in the month of February, I gave the exam and I cleared the subject. In the next semester, Rakesh resigned for his job in our college and he went back to industry. He is now working in a good company. Now, think about this particular solution which came. When I practiced this mirror of the mind, at that time, I had a 2 years goal because within the next 2 years, I had to clear the course. At that time, Rakesh had not joined our department. Afterwards, Rakesh joined our department. Afterwards, me and him, we had a contact. Then that semester also, no effort happened. Effort started happening in the next semester. And after my coursework was over, Rakesh left the job and he went to some other company. If you think this is a coincidence, I will say coincidence will happen only if it happens once or twice. If it happens regularly, then that is not coincidence. That is something called grace. And we have to be fit for receiving this grace. That is how the Silva method of mind control works. This will work only if you have already cleansed your memory. This will work only if you have taken care of your memory. This will work only if you have developed faith on the divine, not faith on the statues which are inside the temples, not faith on the names and forms. God is formless. God is nameless. God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, divine consciousness. That is why I keep on giving the analogy of fish and water. Once the fish comes in contact with water, water is always there to solve all the problems that are occurring because the fish did not create any problems. Now, the problem of the fish is actually the problem of the water, which the water itself will solve. Same way, these techniques are actually helping us to get connected with Him. I should thank Jose Silva for inventing very simple methodologies, but they work so beautifully. In my next presentation, I am going to tell more about some other technique which Silva advises. But that is not related to mind, that is related to some other thing that I am going to tell you in my next presentation. So, my dear friends, keep on practicing these beautiful things. One is affirmation as soon as you wake up, and mirror of the mind whenever required as such. Blue mirror at the left, moving to the right, and then turning into white. This will work only for good things. Don't try these things for any harmful things. Karma will come back to you. That way you have to be careful. Practice this mirror of the mind only for enhancing the quality of life, not for harming any other's life. Please don't do that. You will be stuck up in the law of karma again. That's why I am alerting you, I am warning you. I have used this technique many times in my life. I have told you only one such example. I feel that one example is enough for my intelligent audience. I'm almost coming to the end of this particular set of slides. Later on, I will be starting my next set of slides. You can see at the top there is brain. Brain is connected to the spinal cord, and in the spinal cord there are so many joints, and through all these joints nerves will be spreading to the body, to the left side and to the right side. That way, whatever is stored in the brain, if it has to be connected to the body, it is always happening through the spinal cord. Now, for the spinal cord, what is the best exercise? And for the brain, what is the best exercise? For the brain, I have already told you the exercises which are of the inverting postures. Now, if the spinal cord has to be healthy, all these joints have to be working together. Cervical nerves, thoracic nerves, lumbar nerves, sacral nerves. And through all those joints, gradually nerves will be distributed to the body, to the left side and right side. So it is very much important that when the head is healthy, naturally its transmission system is the spinal cord. Even a spinal cord has to be equally healthy. So what is the exercise for this? I am going to show you in the next slide. Look at this picture again. This is the detailed picture of the earlier slide itself. Here the front side of the body is also shown, at the back side of the body is also shown with all labelings. All these labels are medical labels, and for each joint or each part in the spinal cord, names are given. C1, C5, C8, T1, T2, T3, that way names are given. Names are given based on this previous one. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, that way. Names are given. Now in yoga, we have one method called Chandra Namaskara. Next method called Surya Namaskara. You are seeing the picture here. This is Chandra Namaskara. This is for the left side and for the right side with the sitting posture, gradually moving on to standing posture, coming back to sitting posture, that way. It is cyclic. This is a beautiful practice for moving the body to the left and to the right. It is for the optimum balance between the left side movement and to the right side movement. Next one is Surya Namaskara. This is Surya Namaskara, where from the standing posture gradually move down to bending posture. You can see the inverted head postures also here, gradually moving up and again coming back to the standing posture. This is a very good exercise for the brain as well as to the spinal cord. So my dear friends, already we have the videos posted in our YouTube channel. Keep on looking at those videos. Keep on practicing the Chandra Namaskara and the Surya Namaskara. We have put it as a third set in our total set of videos. These two practices will keep your brain healthy, keep your body healthy. Look at this wellness wheel. Social wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, occupational wellness, emotional wellness, environmental wellness, intellectual wellness. We should have a holistic approach for life, and we should have a holistic health. We should have a physical health, mental health, spiritual health. Then gradually we will have a social health, environmental health, intellectual health, emotional health, occupational health. So health is multi-dimensional. I'm going to suggest some brain tonics and rejuvenators. I have already told you about this many times. I am just reminding you. After dinner, followed by milk, you should consume either Brahmi Rasayana or Shatavari Rasayana or Brahma Rasayana or Jiraka Rasayana or Ashwagandha Rasayana or Agastya Rasayana. Take your own time. Don't start consuming all of them immediately. Take your own time. Buy one, finish it, then take another one, finish it that way. All these are brain tonics as well as rejuvenators. They have nutritional quality also. They have a medicinal quality as well. So this is just a reminder. I have told you enough about all these rasayanas earlier. This is just a reminder because it keeps a mammoth effort for people to develop good habits. Bad habits they will develop on their own. No one will have a training school for smoking cigarettes or consuming liquor or for gambling. No one will have a training school. All those bad habits people will develop on their own. If people have to develop good habits, we have to keep on telling them, keep on reminding them. That is why I am again showing you these things. I have a typical question here now. There are so many medicines for the body, but why there are no medicines for mental ailments? When people become mad or insane, the general medicines given in the modern system is simply sedatives, depressants, or at the worst case, electric shock. It takes a longer time for a mad person to become normal. Why there are no treatments available as such easily? Even in Ayurveda also, there are no such treatments. Through pranic healing, it is possible to accelerate the process of healing. Now, why a person becomes mad? Because in the brain, there are billions of neurons and there are billions of synaptic connections. All these connections are chemical connections. If at all due to any reason, maybe due to head injury, or maybe due to frustration, maybe due to heavy anger, if at all some portion of the brain gets damaged, then it will take its own time for that particular part to heal. Until then, there will not be those synaptic connections. When the synaptic connections are not properly established, now the person may not be able to recall all the events which are connected together. So in that particular case, person will behave in a strange way and people will label the person as insane. The reason is disconnection within the different parts of the brain. That is why, what is the medicine? These are the nutritional supplements which will purify the blood and they will also carry those subtle things which are required for establishment of the neural network once again. That is where this Brahmi is helping a lot. Shankhapushpi is also helping a lot. This was the wisdom of Ayurveda where they found out how brain can reconstruct itself if a suitable raw material is given. Otherwise, is there any medicine for anger? Is there any medicine for jealousy? For those 6 enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, is there any medicine? There is no medicine. When there is no medicine for anger, when there is no medicine for jealousy, the person who is responsible for that anger and jealousy, the person has to refine himself or herself. Otherwise, due to the wrong usage of the brain, if the brain gets damaged, it takes its own time to correct itself. Now, to prevent the madness, people have to have a control on these 6 enemies. That is the actual medicine. It is a mental medicine. It is not a physical medicine. But brain is the vehicle of the mind. So brain also requires proper care. That is where these things work as brain tonics. Now I told you how pranic healing will work. Pranic healing is supplying energy from outside to the portion of the head. Actually, body generates its own energy by means of food and breathing. But if somebody else can supply that energy from outside, body will absorb that energy and gradually healing will be accelerated. That is when pranic healing helps. But unfortunately, many of these novel methods or divine methods are not recognized by the so-called modern scientific community. I don't know when they will understand these divine things as such. That way, the modern science has harmed the spiritual education, asking for proof for everything. Proof is basically intuitive proof. There cannot be a material proof. Okay, let me proceed to the next slide. People who want to increase their efficiency of memory, especially children, they can consume Brahmi Grita or Brahmi Lehya. This is the Brahmi plant which I am showing you. Brahmi Grita means the essence of this Brahmi plant is preserved in ghee, or it is also available as Brahmi Lehya or as Brahmi Rasayana. If they are consuming Brahmi Grita, this has to be before breakfast with warm water. If they are consuming Brahmi Lehya, it has to be after dinner. This will have enough nourishment to the brain. Why I am specifically saying to children is, children are in the until the age of 24. So the growing brain, at the same time, children will be having more pressure for studies. So if they keep consuming these things, their brain will have enough nourishment. I have a small advice to the parents who are listening to me. Don't put too much pressure to the children also. At the same time, don't do too much of hand holding also. Children have to learn their own lessons. So, too much of hand holding or too much of helping the children, you are depriving their independence. You are making them dependent on you. At the same time, if you put too much of pressure on them, they may not be able to sustain that pressure. Better thing is, don't get into the number game, don't get into the rat race, let learning be liking for them. At the same time, as a parent, you can supply enough nutrition and you can offer some motivation and such support. Don't do too much of hand holding. At the same time, don't be too much strict on also on them. Have an optimum balance. So one item is Brahmi Grita. The next item is Manduka Parani. This all the people know. In Kannada, this is called as Vandalaga. This in Sanskrit it is called Manduka Parani. Using this Manduka Parani, one Saraswata Churna is prepared and even Saraswati Lehya is prepared. If you are consuming Saraswata Churna, this is after breakfast. Unlike the Brahmi Grita. Brahmi Grita is before breakfast because it is ghee. Whereas this is Churna. Churna is slightly potent or stronger. So it has to be after breakfast with warm water and after dinner Saraswati Lehya. Choose any one of them. Once one is complete, take the other one. I cannot say that which one is best, which one is better. All are best only. You choose any one of them. After that, you choose one more. This way, you can go on for years together because it is basically nourishment and replenishment to the brain. You can go this way. For better results, Consume one of these great formulations before breakfast, followed by cow's ghee or warm water or warm milk. I have already told you enough about Chyavanprasha. I am just reminding you because I know in my audience there will be some percentage of people who might not have started yet. I know in my 20 to 25 years of teaching experience, even in the industry when I was there, I was teaching, even in the academic teaching, I know that how much percentage of people really follow whatever I tell. As I have told you, if at all you have to develop a bad habit, you will develop it overnight. If at all you have to develop a good habit, you will keep on thinking about it. But I am going to have a check on you. When I start my third presentation, I want a guarantee from all my audience that you are following one of my or some of my advices this way. I am going to have a check on you. Only when I am ensured, I am going to start my third presentation. Otherwise, you are free to leave my presentations now also. There is no point in keeping on telling people the same thing again and again. There is no point. If you do not change, better let me change my method. So this is the next reminder. I'll not be reminding further again on this. This is the next reminder. You can go for either SN Pandit Chyavanprasha or BV Pandit Chyavanprasha. Both are really excellent. Or you can also go for Organic India Chyavanprasha or Sri Sri Chyavanprasha. Or you can also go for this Khandige Organic Amalaki Rasayana. Amalika Rasayana is different from Chyavanprasha. Once you start Amalika Rasayana, then stop Chyavanprasha. Afterwards, again start Chyavanprasha after you complete Amalaki Rasayana. Amalaki's most content is this gooseberry, wild gooseberry. It is present in Chyavanprasha as well, but Amalaki is specifically the gooseberry Rasayana itself. I am coming to the last slide. This is the picture of Dhanvantari. In the story of Samudra Mathana, there comes the account of Dhanvantari who came out of ocean along with the Amrita Kumbha and along with the knowledge of Ayurveda. This is a mythical character and it is a metaphor. But why I am stressing here is in Ayurveda, they never told as such as any human's findings. They always attributed it to Dhanvantari. Whether it is Charaka or Sushruta or Vagbhata, all those ancient seers, they never patented any of their things or they never exhibited their ego as if they have invented some new formulations or new medicines. Unlike the modern community of people who patent each and everything as if it is their own finding. Actually, everything is from nature only. So that way, Ayurveda is always attributed to the Lord Dhanvantari because the wisdom of nature is the wisdom of God Himself. This is a funny philosophy, Irish philosophy. There are only two things to worry about. Either you are well or you are sick. If you are well, then there is nothing to worry about. If you are sick, there are two things to worry about. Either you will get well or you will die. If you get well, there is nothing to worry about. If you die, there are two things to worry about. Either you will go to heaven or hell. If you go to heaven, there is nothing to worry about. But if you go to hell, you will be so damn busy shaking hands with your friends, you won't have time to worry. This is a simple Irish philosophy. This is my last slide for today. From tomorrow, I will start the third set of my slides, which will be the last set of slides for this presentation. In teaching, that I learn, and that is why I teach. Most of the time, while I keep on teaching these things, that is when I get a lot of intuitive thoughts. That is when some of the mystical questions for which I keep finding answers, those answers come from within me. Without my own conscious effort, answers come out from me. In fact, almost all good teachers will have this particular experience that only when they keep involved in teaching, only then they will have beautiful presentations as such. And for many of their own questions, answers will come out through their own speech or through their own writing. That was my experience when I was writing that book called Paramavidya, where I did not have a very serious plan of what all to write. Once when I started commencement of writing with the plain mental attitude, with the gratitude, I used to start writing and I used to keep on typing for hours together in front of the computer. That is how that book came out. So in general, in teaching that I learn, and that is why I teach. Ultimately, whether my audience gets benefited or not, I don't know. But I am definitely becoming benefited because whatever I teach, I am going to learn once again. With this message, let me stop this session for today. We will meet again tomorrow with the next set of slides. Until then, take care and goodbye.